I mean, by default, aspiring Burners big boy matchup of the evening, I guess. I didn't have another one, so this is it. Dun-dun-dun. This is the one. We've got Maurice Greene taking on Greg Hardy in the UFC heavyweight division, and they are some big guys in there.
These are some big boys in there. Greg Hardy's he's obviously he's the more athletic. He's the more athletic fighter. The one thing that worries me about Maurice Greene in this fight is if you've watched tape on Maurice Greene, he doesn't really like to get hit, and Greg Hardy wants to hit him. As much as I want to see Greg Hardy lose this fight, I just don't see it happening. I just think he's just a better all-around athlete. And look, say what you want about him. He's gotten better and better every fight. He took that short notice fight against Volkov, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Volkov?
Yeah. It doesn't really count though, doesn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't really. But he looked impressive. He went the full distance with him. I mean, that was his first top level thing, but he went the distance. Volkov couldn't finish him. You know, he had a sloppy win against a sloppy Jorgen De Castro that should be fighting at freaking light heavyweight. But I just think overall, I think he's gotten better and better each fight. I don't like the way Maurice Greene fights when he gets hit. I don't like the way he reacts. And I think Greg Hardy's going to get it done. I think he KOs him.
Nice breakdown. Greg Hardy, technically 6-2, but in my eyes, 5-1. He got a DQ loss. Lands 4.48 strikes per minute, absorbs 2.79, so a pretty decent differential. Should have the athletic advantage of this matchup. One thing I noticed, he improves every fight. He's training at American Top Team. And like you mentioned about that Volkov fight where he went the distance, I mean, that fight in retrospect looks pretty good now, you know. Decent boxing. Should be a stand-up fight where he has the power advantage. He likes to come forward. He's a pressure fighter. Yeah, and I'm looking for a knockout probably in the first round. I think he catches Greene. I like what you said about Greene not liking to get hit because that's kind of how it looks. You know, you see some fighters, how they take punches and, you know, how they react to them. And, like, Greene doesn't react, you know, very well. He doesn't look like he really wants to be in there. Obviously, nobody wants to get hit, but it's just something, you know, you pick up on body language. But moving on over to Maurice Greene, he absorbs 3.96 strikes per minute, so not that great. But he has a plethora of kicks he'll use. He'll throw leg kicks, body kicks, frequently front kicks. And he's coming off a weird win against John Vellante. I don't know if you guys remember that fight. He submitted him like from this really weird position, and it wasn't even really like an actual technical choke. Like I don't know if there's probably not a name to it. It's just cardiovascular like tiredness from John Vellante, who literally tapped because he just I don't know his mouth was covered for a second or something. It was a really weird win, you want to call it, for the crochet boss, who is also losing the nickname department as well. Pretty cute. Should be a stand-up war between these two heavyweights, but like I said, definitely give me the Prince of War in this one, getting a first or second round win via knockout.
So it was a modified shoulder choke, like a shoulder triangle choke from the bottom. It's a legit choke. I mean, like, it put you.
You think Maurice was like trying to do it?
I think he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think he was button mashing?
No, I really don't. I think he legit was.
He had something and he had it. It definitely went to his advantage that homeboy was fighting 2 weight classes above his weight and he was looking thicker than a Snickers. But I mean, it was a legit submission. So I am going to go ahead and this is my Jason Laporte bad underdog pick of the week. I'm going to go with Mo Greene on this one. I don't like Greg Hardy, but he is a really good athlete. But I have noticed in a lot of his fights, when he starts mixing it up with people that he can't overwhelm with his power and athleticism, I think he gets frustrated. And he's so used to being the bully and being able to do whatever he wants. I think Mo Greene's reach advantage and his length and those kicks could he just has to weather Greg Hardy's storm. He's never looked great in the second or third round of fights. And I think Mo Greene can just weather that first round. And I think eventually you could see this fight on the ground. And Mo Greene is big enough and strong enough that I could see another weird, unorthodox submission. And so I have Mo Greene by submission in the third round, and it's a long shot. And I will ride against betting on Greg Hardy all the time because I tune in to watch him lose and hope that he loses.
We might get kicked off of these podcasts, Zach, if we lose the.
Yeah,
we get one crazy pick a week, and it's fine. But I mean, it's just it's a real thing that when Greg Hardy couldn't put away Yorgan De Castro, you know, he gets a little frustrated when he can't overwhelm people and put them away. Yorgan De Castro is a fat, overweight 205er that isn't disciplined enough to make 205 and walks around and has to cut down to 265. And Greg Hardy couldn't put him away. I think Mo Greene, as long as he can weather the storm, I think the second and third round are going to be a total coin flip.
I'm so torn. I've gone for Greg Hardy in this one, but I just don't know whether he'll get the finish, or I'm even leaning towards the decision victory with Greg Hardy in this one, because we've seen a different Hardy in the fight with Yorgan De Castro at 249. You know what to expect with Hardy. He hits with so much speed and with more impact, and I think Green's going to have to seriously bring his A game for this one if he's going to beat Greg Hardy. I think he's going to have to outpace him for the win. But I think with this fight, you know what to expect. I think both men are going to more likely stand and trade, and it's a case of who can knock each other out, who can knock who out. And again, I think most likely the pair are just going to trade in all sorts of striking shots. And I don't know. I want to say Greg Hardy via some form of knockout, but I think looking at his last fight against Yorgan De Castro, he does have the ability to finish Maurice Greene. There's no way I'm backing Maurice on this one, but I just don't see him getting the knockout in this one. I'm going to go for a decision victory. It's a strange prediction, but the power is there with Greg Hardy. But after looking at his last fight with Yorgan De Castro, I'm not overly convinced that he'll get the finish this time around.
All right. So I guess as an alternative, if you're looking for an alternative to our safe parlay from earlier, you can take the big bet option and go with the Jason and Zack parlay of Maurice Greene and Thiago Moises.
Man, what's the payout on that?
For a lot of money, probably.
What is the payout on that?
Hey, throw $5 on it. I bet you get like a lot more than $5.
100.
I just might.
Wouldn't that be some shit?